Hold up, hold up. Pause on the play. I forgot that when the beat dropped, it's a whole other song. I totally said I wasn't gonna do it to y'all again, and then I did it to you again. My mistake. My mistake. I'm in I'm in search for some hold music. You know, if there's any black first artists out there that want to be heard, maybe they want to help me out with my music while I throw stuff in the jumbo because I really hate this royalty free music that this app has. But it is better than just quiet because that's what'll happen because I do have things to post in the jumbo before I get started, and there is no real way to do that before starting the space. So instead of y'all just being in here and it just being quiet, I thought you might appreciate some elevator music in the background. Please excuse my voice too. I don't know what's going on. I think that there is a bug going around, and I think people want to try to blame it on the vid, but I thought all those people were vaccinated, so I just don't understand how these people who are supposed to have been safe from this bug, then they get the bug, and then they tell everybody that it's not safe, but they got vaccinated. And that's a whole other conversation that I'm not really trying to get into tonight, but if I don't sound like my normal self, it's because something's trying to attack my system and I'm trying to fight back. But I have some thoughts and I couldn't be quiet. So here I am. Welcome to my thoughts. Peace to my sisters in the room and my brothers. I see you guys. I appreciate you being here with me for this evening. My thoughts. Movements that don't move. That's the title of the space tonight. I hope maybe you have some contributing thoughts. And if you don't, that's okay. I think that maybe my thoughts might make you ponder on a thing or two, and then maybe it will cause you to act or react, whichever one makes you feel best. I think that if you're doing something after I said something, you are reacting. But since I'm not laying it on you too thick, maybe it will just be cool that you can call it that you're acting, and that's cool too. Um, Movements that don't move. That sounds like constipation, doesn't it? Like a movement that won't move. I don't think that anybody likes to be constipated, but I think that we are living in a world of constipation. There are literally people out here who have not taken a shit today. And that's bad. Like, think about your day. I really want you to think about your day today. And if you didn't take a poop in the last 12 hours, something is wrong with your body. I promise. Because if you ate in the last 12 hours, something should have came out. Peace to my sister Kush. I'm on a soapbox of another kind tonight. What's up?
You're right. Movements that don't move. That's interesting. So, and peace, power, reparations to you and the Black American family. For instance, let's take the reparation movement, right? So the whole point of the movement is to be progressive and not to stay stagnant, right? So I don't understand how some people can see how the world has been moving against us. First, you have the pandemic. The pandemic was one of the waves, right? It kept a lot of people, a lot of Black Americans unemployed, and it kept a lot of Black Americans not able to feed their families or substantiate homes. But now we have inflation. Now stuff is getting too expensive to where some of us cannot feed our families. And now you have mass immigration going on. There are waves that have been going on for time after time after time that have been going on that was meant to keep our movement stagnant. So all hands to me are needed all on deck. If you're saying to me that you are not willing to play a vital role in the movement, the progression of where our community is, you are saying to me you're okay with being constipated. You are saying to me that it is okay for everybody else on the outside that does not stand along with us. It's okay for them to treat us how they have been treating us. Black American kids go missing in the United States. Nobody wants to talk about it. Black man gets killed by the police, get beat up by the police, and has to experience police brutality. Nobody wants to talk about it. Little Amber goes missing. There's an Amber Alert, and it's on the 5 o'clock news, and everybody all of a sudden now has to pitch in. The point is to be is to make the stand and to let everybody know where we at. Because I don't like to be constipated. I don't know about some of y'all. Being constipated is uncomfortable, it's an undesirable feeling. It's not a great feeling to have. And it stops you from doing or stops your body from moving how your body needs to move. Your body, if you're participating in the movement, that means your body is able to participate with clear mind, clear intentions, and clear all of that. But that's really all I have to say for now. So thank you for letting me speak.
Of course, and I appreciate those first and initial thoughts because definitely, I don't think people like to be constipated, Kush. I don't think that they like to be constipated. I think that they are used to being constipated, and that's where we are. People ain't taken a shit in a long time, and they're used to that bloat that's on their gut. I mean, if you walk outside, you can see it. There's a lot of people out here that's got some excess waste in there, and they're cool with it because if they weren't, they would be trying to get it out. I do not see a line at the doctor that does the boo boo thing, the colonoscopy. I don't see lines at those doctors. Actually, I feel like people try to stay away from those doctors. I don't think it's a comfortable feeling to have something. Okay, maybe that's too graphic for y'all tonight, but really, this is where we are. We are in a movement that doesn't want to move, and I just don't understand it. I'd like to understand it because once you understand the problem, you can fix it. But until there's understanding, ugh, I know we need some Miralax or something. I don't know. I've never needed I've never needed this to like in my life. I know people who do need it. I just know that when there's a problem, you're supposed to fix it. And if we can treat our bodies the right way, then we can treat the movement the right way. I feel like the movement should be reflective of our individual selves, but we're bringing unhealthy to a movement that's supposed to be progressive. Like you said, I do like the words and the verbiage that you use there because absolutely, it can't be stagnant. It's not supposed to be something that's just happened and then it dies off, or it's something that could have been or would have been or should have been, but they couldn't take shit. They couldn't get off the pot. I guess there's that saying, you either shit or get off the pot. And if you can't take a shit, then maybe you need to get off the pot. I don't know how many times Black people have to say what's owed to us or what we're supposed to have before we realize that screaming at the top of our lungs what's right isn't gonna make people do what's right. That's not how it works. You can just look across the world, across the planet, and see how you get things done. And really, you should be looking at yourself, Black people in America. Everybody else does. I don't know. Let's see. Peace, Vovo. I see you have your hand up. Welcome to the stage. Do you like to be constipated? I'm sorry. I know you weren't really expecting the question like that, but that's where we're going to go. Do you like to be constipated, Vovo?
Oh, I didn't know you was talking to me. It was a little lag. Good. Of course not. Who likes to be constipated? Yeah, who would like to be constipated? Of course not. You gotta get the shit out.
Gotta get the shit out, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's healthy. It's only healthy to get the shit out. You supposed to get the shit out. But what I came up because I was asking like, what movement are we a part of, or are you or are you a part of? Like when you say that, because I came in the middle of the space. I was just trying to get clarification.
well, really, that's a very good question. What movement am I a part of? I don't know that I'm a part of any movement. I think that I'm just a Black person in America who wants justice. Is that a movement? Can it be a movement? Is it once you call something a movement, it turns into a trend and then people don't want to do it anymore? I'm not sure. You tell me.
No, I don't think that like a movement is you got to have motion. So like if some like we were just saying, you got to get the shit out. You got to get motion going. You got to get shit moving. So yeah, it's absolutely a movement to get justice. That's always been our movement is to try to get justice. But I didn't know when I don't get what you saying movements that don't move. Like what movement that's not moving? Like what's movement that's constipated, as you would say?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that with regards to what's owed to us and our justice. I find that I'm a part of people around me who want change but don't want to change. And when you start looking at it like that,
Who
it's a lot of people
who was
who
those people?
talk, but then where is the action?
Are you talking about the black community? Or are you talking about white people? Who you talking about?
Well, I'd never try to speak for white people because I'm not white people. So I'm only talking about me and black people, people like me. So,
Okay, I don't know though. I think you might be looking at it the wrong way. We is moving. We always been moving. Like we always went shit. It ain't us that ain't doing the work to for reparations or to get justice. That ain't us that ain't doing the work.
so let me ask you
You
like
know,
this. If you take a shit and you clog up the toilet and you flush it and it don't go down, does it mean that the water's not moving or does it mean something else needs to
that's exactly what it means. That the water ain't moving. So you got to figure out you got to unclog it. That's exactly what it means. The water, if the water was moving, everything is fine. When shit stop moving, that's just science. When things stop moving, then something wrong. Everything move. Everything's moving.
But
Everything's
I
moving.
think that maybe you're not hearing me. If there's shit clogging the toilet, the water is moving. Yeah, but is it going where it needs to go or is it about to be a situation on the floor and now you about to have a shitty floor because things were moving but they weren't going where they need to go. So maybe it's not that the movement's not moving, but is it moving the right way? Cuz if it were, wouldn't it be looking a little different?
How it's supposed to look? It look good to me. I see my people all the time. We talking about lineage and all this type of stuff. We in a space we ain't never been in before, in my opinion.
May
Absolutely.
I
Like
interject
what
please?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is brand new territory. So I will give you that. And I'm not saying that there's a template per se of what it's supposed to look like. I do know that I've seen some things that cause me to question some things and that's why I've had the space cuz movements that don't move, movements that don't look. Let me
what
give
this
you
the
this.
thing
Whoa,
though,
whoa, real
sis.
quick. Let me give you this.
Oh,
Movements that don't move look like my brother Jeff having his baby boy murdered by Houston's Children's Hospital and it taking a year to get $20,000 on his GoFundMe. That's a movement that don't move because that man has been super loyal to our cause and getting things that are owed to us. And we can't even find a lawyer that'll take the case for real, for real. That's been a thing. But
but this the thing. Jeff, you know, he ain't the only one going
no,
through
he's
that.
not. He's
Like the
not.
whole movement ain't dependent on Jeff though. Jeff got problems like all of us got problems.
Absolutely. So let's talk about
All
Othel.
of us
Let's talk
dealing.
about Othel's case just started on September 5th and
He ain't the
he's
only
not.
one. We can talk
We
about
could
Grandmaster Jay. We
well,
can talk
no,
about.
we're not
I
going to
know some
talk about
small
Grandmaster
cases.
Jay.
No, I'm just saying we can talk about small cases. That I know cases that don't nobody even know about that was injustice.
Absolutely. And
It's
don't you find that a
injustice all over
problem?
the world.
You don't think that's a problem?
Yeah, that's why we fight for justice.
Right. So okay. So maybe you let me think about how I
How is
want to
the
respond to that.
movement
Go
not
ahead, Kush.
moving? Oh, I wanted to. Okay,
Well, no. So, like, I guess basically, I'm gonna reiterate what I said earlier. Movements that don't move don't serve anybody no purpose. And I think you said something that really kind of set the light bulb off for me. People want the change, but people do not want to change themselves. Right? Is it easy to galvanize people? Sometimes yes or no, depending on the situation, what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure if it was about some bullshit, everybody would be sitting in a toilet space and it'd be easy to galvanize people. But at times when it comes down to serious business, like genuine serious business, we're talking about securing the future for our future generations to ensure that they have the financial and economic pool that they deserve, that we rightly deserve, right? Some people will act as if they're about that, but will not put forth the action, making the movement constipated and that way it doesn't move. All hands are needed on deck, right? Brother lost his child, unfortunately, due to negligence and just straight bullshit, right? Straight bullshit. I'm gonna call it like that, right? That is something that has to be. We all have to galvanize underneath that. As a mother, right? I would want, if I'm saying that I'm about my community and all the other stuff and I'm putting forth action, I would love for my community to help me in that same situation to gain the justification that my child needed because my child just died. We could galvanize behind that because how do we not want to sit up here and not protect the future generation? I can't say that I'm about that and then not act and follow suit along with that. So I guess you could say you have to walk what you talk at the end of the day. The movement is needed. The constipation don't help me. The constipation doesn't help you do what you need to do. It doesn't help Miss T. It doesn't help Twizzle in no way, shape, or form. It's supposed to be beneficial for the collective. But if the constipation is getting in the way of the movement getting I guess you could say movement get going and get pushing, what are we doing? What are we all doing?
That's look, and that's my point, Vovo. If people, and I wasn't talking about anybody in particular right now, just in general. I've seen some things. Specifically, you want to know what I've seen? I've seen me be the only person speaking at a reparations task force in my state. And that's bad because when it's not just me, there's only 3 of us who've been speaking at these meetings. And it's not for lack of people in Virginia not knowing about these meetings. They know about the meetings. They don't give a shit because they're constipated. They full of shit. This is where we are, Vovo. So I'm not specific. I'm not talking about you. Maybe where you are. I don't know where you are, but maybe where you are, y'all are showing up to the meetings. You are speaking up. You are doing everything that needs to happen. And I salute that. Absolutely. Shout out to you. But what I've seen just in my real life, I've seen me, and that's scary because you start thinking about what you have to lose. And then I think about my brother Raheem, right? So Raheem is dealing with some malarkey because of speaking up. You start speaking up against certain people, and then if they've got friends in high places, they can railroad you. And then if you've ever done anything wrong, then they can use that against you, and now you're not supposed to speak anymore. I just don't understand why we can get trapped in this hamster wheel other than there's some constipation going on. So maybe it's not constipation, maybe we already took a dump, but it's clogging up the toilet and we can't move past the shit until we get the shit down. At least tonight we're talking about shit. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be doing better with my language and my vulgarity. I apologize to the room and to the people that have said that I would do better. I'll do better tomorrow. But tonight we talking about shit. And that's a lot of shit in the way, Vovo. So if you telling me you haven't seen shit in the way, I would just say that you being disingenuous. So please enlighten me.
Yeah, it's always gonna be shit in the way. It's always gonna be shit in the way of any movement. Everything ain't gonna run smooth. That's what you gotta realize. That's where I really be needing black people thinking that we just gonna go to some.
Vovo, you cut out.
No, oh, did I?
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
I can. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know what part you ain't get, but I don't know what part y'all ain't hear. But yeah, we ain't about to go to some utopia where everything is rainbows and unicorns and all that shit. No, we always gonna have to fight. There's always gonna be a fight. See, if you feel like things ain't moving, what you should do is get with like-minded individuals. You got to find your tribe. Get with like-minded individuals. Things you need to get. And trust me, it's somebody in your state that's like that. You might got to travel to get with them.
That's
You
what
know
I
what I
just
mean? That's
told you,
your.
Vovo. I just spoke on that. When it's not just me, we're out here. We speak up, but it's
Well,
3.
you got to.
There
But
are
no, this is the
3.
thing. Yeah, that's all you need is 300. You ain't never seen the
300.
movie
That would be
300?
wonderful. And as much as I hear
Yeah,
people talking
300.
online,
They 300 people on code can do anything. Anything. That
Vovo,
you
where
ain't
are
never seen the
you?
movie 300? They
What state
defeated
are
the
you in?
best armies in the world
What
because they
state are
had
you in?
300 soldiers that was all on code.
Vovo, what
So
state are
you
you
don't
in?
need everybody. You don't even want everybody.
Vovo, I only muted you because I'm asking you a question. What state are you in? You can unmute your mic. I only muted you because I need to know what state you're in.
There could be double mute on Twitter.
What do you say, Kush? I can't hear you anymore.
And I was saying sometimes Twitter will do a double
Oh,
mute without you realizing it.
Fovo, unmute yourself. Sorry.
Oh, I got muted. Oh, I thought I was talking.
No,
Oh, y'all didn't hear me?
no, I was asking you what state you were in.
Can y'all hear
I
me?
can hear you now. What state are you in? He can't hear me. Can you? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Go ahead, Kush.
Um, so like let's say Black Lives Matter, right? Everybody thought Black Lives Matter was gonna be the shit and it was gonna be the movement. This was our time to stand up and talk. And then it got constipated because people realized it was just horseshit. And then it stopped moving. It stopped moving and it clogged up a lot of things. It clogged up a lot of people wanting to do something genuine, but it got under the facade of no, it's not really genuine. It's just people embezzling money in the name of a black man's death and not even giving the money to the families that were affected by this. That stopped a lot of shit. That stopped me from ever wanting to sit up here and it. No, I'm not gonna stop. It started to make me question a lot of people's legitimacy or genuality when they're saying that they are for uh, their people or they are for this or they are for that, right? That constipation could potentially still be there. But it's all about making the progress in the movement. Again, I walked out of my city and what I saw was them building they're expanding hospitals. I'm seeing urgent cares pop up. I'm seeing certain things that go on in my city that doesn't make sense until you realize that I have a whole thing of immigrants that are 3 hours away from me that could be touching down in my city. Now I saw the shit. I have to do something about the constipation. I have to be able to make it flow if I'm saying that I'm genuinely concerned about a lot of the illegals coming into where I'm at, right? But if this gets clogged up, that means I need a team of people to help me galvanize here where I'm at to help push the turd through. That's all this is. But I need genuine people that are going to be legitimate and going to be honest about what this takes to do this. See, when you okay, and I'm going to go into this real quick before I land, right? When you have to go to the bathroom, you already feel what's going to happen before you get there. So if you're constipated, you know that you go through symptoms of bloating, of discomfort, a little bit of gas here, a little toot here, right? And then when you get to the pot, you know what you have to do. You strain at times to get through. I'm sorry this is so descriptive. I'm sorry this is
Look, I kept thinking about how I wanted to address this tonight, and I couldn't get around the shit. It's just it's bad. It's so
this is
bad because Kush, I swear I've been trying so hard to not be vulgar, but this is dirty work. So please go ahead. Tonight we got a pass. I'm giving us a pass.
right. Right. And see, and that's the point. It's the dirty work. But you know what it takes to do the dirty work. You know what you're going to get into before you get into doing the dirty work. So let's just galvanize and do the dirty work because there are people that are up against us. There are people that will sit up here and tell you you don't deserve reparations because of A, B, and C. And then we look at them like you obviously you don't know my history. You don't know my lineage. So I don't expect you to genuinely understand. See, I live in a state, right, where you can say that it could either be Republican or Democrat, right? Depending on what's going on in that moment in time. It's just like the weather. It's sunny one day and it's raining the next. I live in that state where they are what it looks like allowing the illegals to come in through, right? While pushing LGBTQ agendas, while sitting up here not having home shop for class, but are trying to teach kids how to approach people with different pronouns or how to respect them. That is what's going on, not just probably in my state, but in everybody's single state. So I'm trying to push this turd through. I don't want to be constipated no more. I want all of our children to be able to live in a society where they don't have to fear getting kidnapped by people who don't like them and don't resonate with them and have okay with doing harm to them. I want to live in that community where my black men are safe, right? Where my black men are out there and they don't have to look behind their backs or have to be targeted by the police or feel like they're going to get beat up by the police. I want to live in that community where I know that Black American families are going to be the standard. And I also want to live in that community where it no longer pushes the agenda that black men don't take care of their kids, where black women are out there just out there twerking and they don't take care of their children, and all our children do is just promote the degeneracy. That's the kind of community that I want to live in. So are you trying to push the turd through? Or are you hold on, are you gonna be part of the flow of the turd, or are you gonna be part of the constipation? That was one of the points of my space. It wasn't to uplift just one group of individuals. It's about making the movement move. You have to participate in order to move. If you want to pass out waters while there's reparations meetings going on, fine. But you have to progress from passing out waters to passing out flyers, from passing out flyers to sitting in the meeting, from sitting in a meeting to be speaking on the meeting, from speaking to the meeting to galvanize and go out to colleges to speak and galvanize as many people as you can that have the same stance points as the same talking points and will align with you so that way you know where you stand in your community. That was the whole point of my space, and it's the space that I previously had, and it got so derailed it was ridiculous. But I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm gonna land there.
I appreciate your thoughts, Kush, as always. Definitely what you said, a progressive movement. Vovo, I'm glad you came back up. I don't know why X or Twitter X, I don't know why it's hating real hard, but before you left, I was wondering what state you were in.
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
I live in Cleveland, Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, cool. Is there a reparations task force in Ohio?
I haven't seen one.
Okay, so if there is one, then you will be at the meetings, right? Because you're saying that you're boots on the ground, you're outside.
Depends on what I'm doing that day. What I'm gonna do at the meeting.
Depends on what you're doing that day.
It depends on what I'm doing that day. Yeah, it depends on what I'm doing that day. I got a full-time job and I run a business. It depends on what I'm doing that day.
I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you for your thoughts, Vovo. Okay, let's talk about this. Um, I teach, and we had a discussion with the students today about protesting, and they asked about, well, don't people get mad that you're in the way? And we used an example because you have to take a bridge and a tunnel to get to where I am, so it's very inconvenient when there's traffic at the tunnel. I mean, to go 5 miles can take an hour at the minimum just because of tunnel traffic. So we posed the example, what if there were a protest at the bridge? And everybody immediately knew what type of time the traffic would be on because everybody knows that that little strip of land is an inconvenience for everybody. And when there's traffic there, all bets are off. You're gonna be late. You might as well just suck it up. Everybody knows. And the children just kept saying, well, aren't people gonna be mad that they're gonna be late for work, that they can't get to where they're going? And I think that the whole reason that you protest is because something's not right. It brings me back to a thought, or at least what I've heard on, I want to say it was the Black Channel, that if we can't all be comfortable, then we will all be uncomfortable. And teaching that to the children kind of made me excited because it's teaching them that they don't have to do what society is telling them that they have to do in order to get things done, creating little rebels, if you will. And I think that that's beautiful because a lot of y'all are out here creating cowards and soft targets. And the children around me are not going to be like the children that are around you. And I think that if you grow up in an environment where you know that you can't just go play at the playground like Tamir Rice because something can happen to you, well, it's a little bit different. And you can't just experience life as a child like people want you to, but you are experiencing life a little bit more safe, and we can move a little bit more safer as a group when we're not worried about all these soft targets around us. um, Movements that don't move. I'd like to make sure that everybody around us is not worried about what we're doing that day. I'm sorry. I have a billion and one things that I have to do on any given day, but I am at those reparations task force meetings. I don't give a shit. I've had zero car and I've still made it. and I've had to travel. It's not down the street, it's 2 hours away. And I just told y'all it takes a whole fucking hour to go 5 miles if the tunnel is backed up. So I've sat in that traffic to go to Richmond to sit in those meetings. I don't give a damn. So I'm sorry. You got a full-time job and you got a business. That's cool. I got a full-time job. I got a business. What's up? You ain't outside. Not if you talking to like that. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about movements that don't move. That's not moving. That's saying I got time to take a shit. I don't have time to wipe my ass, but I am at those reparations meetings, let me tell you. And to be the only one there when I see people stomping so hard on this app and on the internet, I get so upset that I lose my voice yelling into the mic about where y'all at. Like, really? Is me and my 5 kids and my family and we just up there and looking all crazy? Like, okay, the last meeting, and I'm gonna let Iris go in a second, but the last meeting that I was at, they kind of made a joke. Like, here comes Eve again, talking about check, talking about need a check. Like, you see all these damn kids? Yes, the fuck I do. Need a check. Like, what are y'all talking about? You telling me that I'm not owed what's owed to me? You're telling me that it is owed to me, but you're telling me I can't tell you that you need to write a check? Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Peace, Iris. Welcome
Hello,
to my
sis.
thoughts.
Hello. And honestly, I have to tell you, I am very impressed because I know you're a mom and I know you are a business owner of a couple of businesses. I know that, you are facilitating this space. I know that you are also a teacher and a coach, and you still always find time to advocate for our people. And I am very, very thankful. I'm very thankful. And I wanted to let Brother Vovo know that I just looked it up real quick, and there is a reparations task force in Ohio. So I think if you go, I pasted it, or not pasted it, but I, copied it to a I reposted a link to this room, and I just said that it was in Ohio. I don't know how to pin anything to anywhere, but Vovo, if you go to DIOS ohio.org, you can just type in reparations task force Ohio. You can get information, and maybe you can get involved in some type of way. The thing is like, and what got me very involved in the movement is, or in this particular movement, is like I couldn't not go. It is our people. Like, can you imagine, in the 60s? And I know not everybody was there, but, if there was like a sit-in or there was something going on and you didn't go to that, like, why wouldn't you be, if you can ensure that your grandbabies would be taken care of, like, why wouldn't you make the drive or make the accommodations that you need to make to just be a part? And sometimes you don't even have to say nothing. Sometimes even just being there and looking at people in the eye and hearing either the nonsense and kind of reacting to it, like with the eye roll, or, getting up to speak and letting people know, like, this is what we want, this is what we expect. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Like, you just need to show up. They just need to know that you care. So I would implore you to please check that out locally. There is something going on in Ohio. I can't say that there's something going on in every local jurisdiction all over America, but there's a lot going on all over America, and I think all hands on deck. But what brought me up here, and Eve, I don't come up all the time, but when certain little things spark my motivation, I do feel compelled to speak. And that was when Kush was speaking, and it's like, yeah, a lot of people are kind of full of shit. And today, I saw something. I actually saw it a couple of days ago where YC basically was going to town, and she made it seem like there was only 51% of Black Californians support reparations, and then she starts going off, and then a lot of the people that I guess that watch her show or whatever were like, y'all don't get it. They all said exactly the same thing, and I'm like, well, you can read this legislation yourself. And I'm not talking about AB 3121. I'm talking about SB 490, which establishes an agency, for our people. I have a genealogy. It'll have a thing for healthcare. It'll have an accountability branch, because a lot of people say, oh, they'll use our harm specifically to make sure that they get money. And then when you look to see who is getting the resources, who they're allocating the resources to, they are excluding us. And I know that that happens with our children in the state of California. We also know in California that, you know, Black women who give birth are 20% of all postpartum deaths. So and we only make up 5% of those who give birth. That is an issue, you know? And so this agency is going to be through the state. And yes, it is not cash payments. We're still fighting for that, but it is legislation. So, you know, when I saw that, and then it's like, way to be on time, Eve, because people don't even know that they can be the stoppage. They can be the force that is stopping. I think it's called metastasis, is what it causes the intestines to get rid of stuff. But you can be the entity that is taking away that good gut flora and allowing the movement to move. And I just really wish that, you know, people wouldn't do that. I wish people would think for themselves, that they would read for themselves, and they would see the importance of things the way that we all do. But I try not to let them deter me, because, you know, justice is the ultimate prize. Like, justice is what we're striving for. A just world is a better world for everyone. So that is one of the reasons why I advocate for reparations. And you know, and I do seek justice and try to support in any way that I can. So to Mr. Vovo, again, there is a reparations task force in Ohio. I personally just found out about it today, and I did. It's my most recent tweet, so feel free to like look on my page so you can get more information about that. And you are needed. You are needed, and I hope that, for not just for your babies, but for your future grandbabies, if they are to come, if you're blessed to be a grandfather, and those who come after you, that you do join the fight, and we do it for those who came before us. And I'll end there.
Thank you for that. I appreciate those words always. I shared it in the jumbo, so if you're in Ohio, please take a look, take a gander at the diosohio.org link that has been posted in the jumbo. All hands on deck. That is necessary. What'll happen is that they'll say majority rules, and that's the game that they're pulling in California right now with the whole poll. You know, when you poll people and they say, well, we don't really support that. Okay, well, if it's for us, then they can say, well, we're not going to do that. But when we say that we don't support our children being subjected to all of this chicanery, well, it doesn't matter that 97% of the population does not want drag teachers or XYZ pronoun people confusing children. But they throw it on us and they say that we have to eat the shit. No, I will not eat the shit. I would like to, take regular shits like how you're supposed to. But again, if you look at your last 12 hours and you didn't take a shit, there's something wrong with you. I promise you that you have a problem and you need to do something about it. And once you take care of yourself, then you will be able to help the movement. I promise. It's like butter. And I think butter makes people shit too. So there's that, the whole lactose and black people thing. Anyway, Kush, I see your hand. I'm gonna get back to you in a second. I see my brothers Dewan and Sonny came up. Peace, Sonny. What's up? Oh, let me ask you. Do you like to be constipated?
Nah, if you out now, you gotta be regular, man. You gotta be regular. Get some fiber in your diet. Definitely, man. To stay regular. That's the reason why a lot of people be mad on the on. I said that. Listen, I said this shit like a few months ago. I said a lot of people that's on Twitter, they be mad as hell all the time because they ain't boo boo. So yeah, it's a lot of people on here constipated, but I just want to shout out you, KD, Bear Arms, and the Virginia family. I know you was just talking about the work y'all was doing out there for the reparations in Virginia. So I just wanted to shout that out, and I wanted to I didn't know nothing about that information that why they don't like me just said so about the Ohio reparations, and so I clicked on that link real fast, and that's man that stuff looked like that stuff looked trash. So yeah, hopefully the vote. Yeah, hopefully Volvo he pull up, bro. Um, damn, that's that shit crazy, man. I'm in Florida right now, so that kind of hit me for real, for real. That's nothing. Ah, man, I'm gonna have to. I don't know what to do because person to be on this type time with my family, but yeah, that's not a good look at all. That's something about the church, and it's like a white reverend in charge of the whole reparations task force. Like it, that's not. Yeah, that they not talking about nothing tangible. Um, yeah, that's wild, man. I'm gonna have to marinate on this. Let me get back to my bill because that's really fucking with me real quick. Um, yeah, so definitely, that's important, and I know that you said that that you busy, you work, you got kids, you still do what you need to do, and that's something that has to happen across the board in the grassroots. You know what I'm saying? And because she reiterated that, from her space earlier, from us having a conversation, calling out and saying, about the Fulton County reparations task force hearing that was this week, a few days ago, and we were, in a Zoom call and watching it, and only 3 people showed up to the reparations task force hearing, and it closed down 20 minutes early than what it was supposed to close down at 8. But since nobody really showed up, they just shut it down and said, we just gonna close it down. Ain't nobody here to speak or say nothing. So yeah, it's important for people to be engaged, man, and it really does bother me, um, because I thought we wanted reparations. I thought we were talking about 40 acres and a mule. We've been talking about this shit since the 60s and before then with Cali House, and now that the conversation is here and it's on the table, nobody's really doing nothing. Nobody's showing up. Nobody's going. Nobody's doing anything. It is a weird dynamic for us, and the ancestors to put in all this work, you know, this far, and now in 2023, we actually have the ability to go to these, the voice our opinion, go to these task force, say this should be the amount we should receive. We should get this land. It should be, whatever you want to say, and nobody is not going. That's crazy, man. And we have a lot of these things popping up across the country. It's not just Fulton County, but it's Baltimore, it's the Boston one, it's the Detroit one, and it's really I can't wrap my mind around this. It's really bothersome. So yeah, definitely, man. I'm myself personally looking at the grassroots, quote unquote, whatever that means, the grassroots as a whole, and particularly, and really questioning myself and asking where is the movement, because I don't really see a movement. I see a lot of bickering and fighting back and forth on Twitter, and so-called reparationists on Twitter, but I don't really see anybody outside, putting in the work, making sure that reparations is the language and everything is gate kept, and it's direct, to the descendants and the people who's supposed to receive reparations. So, yeah, definitely, man. I mean, this is a conversation that needs to be had. I mean, honestly, on a larger scale. I wish it was a lot more people in this space, just because it's that big to that magnitude where we should be having this conversation. Um, on a larger scale like that. So, but yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Me and my team will be pulling up again. Next week. And being outside, stomping again. We got brochures, flyers, all type of material to pass out to give. I just got out of the back channel meeting. We have one at 7 p.m. Me and the family, to pass out, and making sure that we're doing what we're doing to activating the people and letting them know about reparations and their inheritance, that's due to them. So yeah, I appreciate this space, Eve, and I'll land right there.
Thank you for those words, Sonny. And definitely shout out to my Virginian counterparts, Katie and Bear Arms, because it's 3. It's three. You can count us on one hand. But if you include my family, then I guess it's like 10 of us. It's 10 of us total, three speakers, and that's not enough. Virginia had a very large number of slaves. I want to say that they keep saying that they had the largest number of slaves at one point, and for it to be that bad, it should be more of us speaking in these meetings. And I get it. We keep hearing, I don't know what to say. I'm scared. I'm not a public speaker or whatever. But between what Kush and Iris just said, you could be passing out waters. You could be passing out pamphlets like what y'all are doing. You could just be educating people, telling them where to go. I think that there's a lot of different things that we could do to get us where we need to be. All hands on deck. You can't be.
Also, Eve, can I say this real quick?
Go ahead.
Um, if you're not comfortable with just even doing that, right? You have to look at the bigger picture as at hand. So that means if you see the people that's doing the work, just like and retweet the tweet, of them doing the work. That goes a long way too. Regardless if you like the hashtag, you don't like the hashtag, you like the people. It's about reaching the masses of Black America. You know what I'm saying? So even if you don't decide to go, you're not going to show up and stuff like that. If you see something on your timeline and somebody outside or at a reparations task force speaking, just like it and retweet it. And that's all I wanted to say.
Nah, that's real talk because I had a whole point about a popularity contest, right? And I think that niggas get caught up in friends. I hate to be the one to break it to y'all, but you don't have any friends. Nobody has any friends, not right now. We don't have time for friends. And if y'all are out here trying to make friends, I'm looking at you a little funny style because really, who has time to hang out? I hate some hanging out ass niggas. Really. I mean, it's cool to hang out. I think there's a time and a place, but I think that people get so comfortable with the hanging out aspect that the getting work done aspect never gets done. And then we're looking at the same stupid problem in 20 years talking about, well, Black Lives Matter was a good thought. And the civil rights, Black Power movement was a good thought, and all these good thoughts with no action when there is action, but there's shit in the way. Like we gotta do something about the shit, Sonny. Um, I salute the work that y'all have done. I appreciate people who are boots on the ground. Like you really do gotta be outside. And and it takes everybody. Let me tell you how the children move people. Having children is probably a low blow, right? But they used to use our babies all the time. Why can't you use your babies? I think you should. If you got them, you need to use them because, man, they make people feel some kind of way when they know more about what's going on than you do. Really, you will look foolish talking to an 11-year-old who knows what reparations is, and you talking about can't we all just get along? You look at my baby in her face and tell me that DACA means more because you want to send that money away. I saw your poll, Sonny. How many people, was it still at 100% people think that reparations should be paid versus our money going anywhere else?
I think it's like at 96, 97%.
That's a damn shame. There should be 100%. There should be nobody saying anything else because if it's our money, it's our money. Like, even if you white people in America, you need to know that sending our money outside of here is detrimental to us in general. Like, they want to survive, their numbers are in the red, but they keep doing suicidal things. We need to not allow these suicidal people to be in control of things, but that's a whole other conversation. I think we need to try to skin this cat one paw at a time. I don't know. Maybe that's too graphic. Katie, I see you. Kush, I see you. Dewan, before I get to you, I'm gonna let Kush land, and then we'll see what's up.
Thank you. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna drop down. Right. Uh, you have to give the respect where the respect is due. If you are choosing to play the role and not participating, you probably need to just sit this one out and just be cool. There's no catering or none of that going on. Our ancestors have sacrificed, and some of them paid the ultimate sacrifice, so we can be sitting up here having this conversation now. So we have to acknowledge our ancestors. We also have to acknowledge the people that are going outside and acknowledging and saying, hey guys, we need our reparations because we're a Black American community and we've been traumatized. We've been the victims of the United States, the corporation of America. Our ancestors are victims of the corporation of America. Our children were sold, they were fed to alligators, we were reclassified more than one time, up and now to the point where some of us don't even have our race even on our birth certificates. Our community is only the community that's being erased in some way, shape, or form. If you are not willing to even sit up here and just give respect where it's due, we got a real problem. You part of the constipation. And what Sonny eat don't make me shit. Sonny make look, and also, and I'm gonna say this too. People got personal problems on this app. So and so said this to me, so I ain't gonna work with him. That's fine. You ain't gotta work with him, but just because you don't want to work with him does not mean that your progression has to stop. You still have to do what you do at the end of the day. Somebody might not like me tomorrow, and that's fine, but that ain't got nothing to do with me telling or teaching my kids the culture. That ain't got nothing to do with it. And I could care less. This is not the fight for feelings. This ain't the fight for, well, I got all this animosity, so I'm gonna just sit this one out. No, I need your hands on deck, and I need you to be able to separate your personal shit from this movement. Sacrifices have to be made. Sacrifices are going to be made, and as long as that's understood and we good, we ain't got nothing else to talk about. You stay over there on your side. You do what you do. I'm gonna work over here. But I know objectively, at the end of the day, it's for the collective. It's for making sure that my great grandkids are gonna know who Grandma Cush was, because Grandma Cush was that one. I want to be a contributor. I want to make sure the turd goes down the toilet. It doesn't come back up. I don't want to be the person that's contributing to the turd just sitting in there or not even letting it get to the point of it even hitting the bowl, slide down the bowl. Sorry, that was graphic. I'm sorry, but that's just kind of where this stands. So play your role. Don't play your role, but don't shit on the people that are playing their role. That's going out there speaking for you and your people. If you're not even willing to make the same sacrifice or the same change, where do you get off saying that because they're doing this, it's a hindrance where you're not even doing anything. You're not even passing out the water. So I'm gonna just land there. Thank you for letting me speak.
Of course. And thank you again for those thoughts. You definitely made me think about how wonderful we are as a culture. How many different ways can you use shit, and everybody in this room will know exactly what you're talking about? Same word, different meaning. I mean, don't you just love that about us? Some people will say that we don't have a good command over the language because we use the same word over and over. But I just think that that adds to our style, being able to take over shit and make it our shit. It's kind of makes us the shit. But okay, that's a different type of shit. Uh, Dewan, I'm sorry. Before, because I know I have some thoughts for you before you go. My sister Katie came up, and I really need to pick her brain because we're supposed to have a pull up.
Go to KD first. I want to hear what she got to say. Go to her first.
Peace, KD.
Hey, so how you doing?
Hey, look, did you make the sweet potato pound cake?
Lord, y'all look, y'all gonna stress me out.
I
Okay.
just want you to know that I don't eat dairy because that's just I don't. But I was thinking that I might just make a trip across the water because the way that
Girl, you
sweet
talk
potato
about across the
pound
water, you
cake,
gotta come through the tunnel. You right there.
that's right. I'm saying that's water,
I
anywhere
guess
from
so.
Norfolk is across the water. I hate it here sometimes. But that pound cake, okay, I'm sorry. Black American women who cook is a move, just in case y'all didn't know. And shout out to us. And Katie, yeah, we have a pull up coming up. Do we not? We have a pull up coming up.
Absolutely we do. But we'll shit. I'll text you.
That's what's up.
Cause I
That's what's
forgot
up.
I forgot what the hell I was about to say because I
That's
ain't
okay.
finished thinking
Let's
about that.
let's do let's run it like this. I'm gonna treat you fair. I'm gonna treat you right. KD, do you like being constipated?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I give myself a pink Himalayan sea saltwater flush occasionally. I do that occasionally. Got to put a little lemon in it because that pink Himalayan sea salt that shit is nasty. But yeah, just a little lemon to deal with the taste. But no, I don't like being constipated. I do not like being irregular. I do not like being backed up. And speaking of being backed up, we talking about movements that do not move. That's because people don't want to move. Let's just call it what it is. Don't folks don't want to move because if they wanted to move, they'd have been moved by now. And in addition to that, you have people who have to have other people's permission to move. So folks got a lot of people on this app that talk a good game about reparations and being in the movement or whatever the case may be, but they have to get permission from somebody else to want to do something, or they have to see their idol or anybody that they may idolize. They have to see that person do something that in order to activate them or make them want to move. I'm glad that we don't bring Virginia up on this app. I don't talk about it at all. Like I really do not talk about it at all because I feel like, and I know that on this app it's only a little bit of us. That's there. And crazy because we gotta come damn near what 2 hours to come to get up there from where we at. So we're making the moves to travel back and forth. And I don't talk about it because when it was put out there the first time, all the people that were informed about it, the only people that responded are the people that's showing up now. So I really don't want to even be dealing with people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even want to be dealing with folks because they fake and they don't do shit. So you're not gonna waste my time, and I'm not about to sit up here and waste no time, wasting time because you don't want to step. So yeah, I'm glad that it's just us, just a little bit of us that's doing what we need to be doing as far as keeping Virginia under control. Because I really feel like we do a good job of towing the line when it's time for these hearings and stuff to come up. But yeah, I don't even want to be involved with anybody else as far as our state is concerned right now, because people had ample time to want to get out there. People had ample time to want to like get information about what was going. It wasn't like nobody was hiding the information. I dropped a whole thread back in March of every state that I can think of, minus California, because of course California was being broadcasted throughout the whole nation. So wasn't no point of trying to do that. And then on top of that, it was several states that was trying to get their stuff off the ground, and whatever information I could gather on it, I dropped the whole thread on it. It got a lot of views, but a little bit of retweets, a little bit of retweets. And I also noticed that, it also depends on who the information is coming from. I noticed that on this app also. It's a whole lot of monkey see, monkey do. He don't like me and I don't like you type of shit that be going on this app too. Depending on who the information is coming from, people choose to ignore it because of who it comes from. So if it's from somebody that somebody told you not to like, or something that somebody told you not to deal with, it could be something as important as them actually saying that, hey, you have a certified check here with your name on it or X, Y, and Z. But because you're the person that's saying it, a person will really move around that just because somebody told them don't mess with you or they don't like you for whatever reason that they you ain't never did nothing like personal to this person or whatever the case may be. But they would ignore it and be spiteful just because they don't like somebody. Folks really be on this app being spiteful about the movement because somebody either told them not to like somebody on this app, or because they just want to be a follower behind somebody else on this app for not liking nobody else. I am the type of person, I don't have to like you at all. In my real life, I can hate your guts and I will sit right beside you like you don't exist to me. I can do stuff like that. When it's time for us to galvanize and mobilize, I don't give a damn about whether I like you or not. I'm out there for one cause and one cause only. And I've showed that on several occasions that I can be in the mix of a whole lot of people that don't like me, and I will walk right past you and walk right through you like you do not even exist to me, because I know whatever is going on is much bigger than me. And folks just can't, as adults, it's a lot of adults that can't move like that. It's a lot of adults that can't move at all because they have these corporate jobs. They can't lose this money that these good white folks is paying them. They can't show their face because they don't want to be seen, because they might lose the only way that they make their money. They can't do that. Not only that, it's a whole lot of people that's scared to check these crackers in public. Like y'all, there's a lot of people that talk a good game on this app, but when it's really time to put pressure on crackers, they not finna do that shit because they scary. But they got a whole lot of characters to type on this app, but they not gonna do that shit in public. They not gonna correct nobody when they say something or they go against what we're trying to do. They're not gonna step to them and do that shit because they don't got it in them. They just don't got it in them to do it. And then lastly, it's just people that's just lazy. They're just plain lazy. They want everybody else to do all of the work just so they can show up to the group project after the fact and just do the presentation and get an A. No, it don't work like that. I had a lot of time to analyze everything from what happened, you know, last year, from seeing if people really wanted to be serious and people was really out here clowning people's efforts to try to really get off of this app and go and try to inform people who don't even have an idea about what reparations is, about what's going on. And I watched people actually tear those efforts down and clown the shit. Like, that was the most off coast shit I ever seen in my goddamn life. But hey, you live and you learn. So that taught last year taught me a valuable lesson that one, I'm not wasting my time with no fuck niggas, no scary ass people, and no people that need a permission slip to go outside and stomp for reparations. I'm not doing that. Two, whatever the hell is going on in Virginia, we gonna keep that shit. I'm sorry, but that's exactly what we gonna have to do. And if you wasn't willing or wanting or motivated enough to want to do it then, I don't expect you to want to do it now. Everybody's just a lot of people just talking to save face, but the time has been now and you still ain't moved yet. But we gonna see though. We gonna see with all of these different meetings that's coming up around the country with these different boards, chairs, or whatever they call them. We gonna see how many people that's really gonna be out there paying attention to what's going on. And I guarantee you the numbers is gonna be non-existent, or they just gonna be the same people that's been coming out, that was coming out from the beginning. So yeah, the movement is definitely gonna remain at a standstill as long as these scary people that are so-called of the lineage keep standing still. And I'll just I'll close right there.
Damn. The shit is in the way, in the worst way. Katie, I feel you. Look, and you know I feel you because everybody don't need the mic. If you've been around me for any real length of time, you know that I don't necessarily give everybody the mic because I'm not as nice as y'all think I am. And some of y'all don't need to be talking to me or to anybody at all. But here you are. And it allows you to ask for a mic because democracy, right? Okay, but here we are. This is a dictatorship on my channel. I guess this is not a channel, this is a space. But if you want to check out my channel, I have one. It's on YouTube, Just Eve. You could follow me there. This space will be posted there. I have a lot of thoughts about this type of stuff, and I post them there on that channel. So if you haven't paid attention or if you'd like to catch up, that's where you can go. But Katie, Sonny said something earlier, and this happened in real time. He said that there was a meeting and it ended early because there was nobody to speak. That happened in real time. The
Yeah.
last meeting, it happened. I was there. I know you and y'all couldn't come. It's cool. I'm not blaming y'all because y'all are always there. I'm saying that they knew that they knew that I was going to be the last person speaking, and it ended early. And the jokes, I don't know if it's been posted yet, but you need to go check out that recording from the last meeting. They were kind of laughing about a check and like, ha ha, we can add it, but you know, it's not going to go anywhere. And that's not the type of attitude you're supposed to be bringing to the table. You need to be bringing to the table that, this is the ask. And then, we starting at the top, not from the bottom, not from the middle, but from the top, all the way at the top. And I don't I don't think my voice is strong enough to make that to make them afraid of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick the kids on them. Nah, they keep talking about how cute the kids are, but they won't say, "Well, cut the check because the kids are so cute." I never hear that. But they were quick to end that meeting. And they never eat them sandwiches. Let's talk about our money. Like, is that our tax dollars, Katie? They order these sandwiches for
Yeah.
these meetings, and nobody eats the sandwiches, y'all. these
Shit,
sandwiches
I do.
lined up at the. I know you do, but they did not order the sandwiches for us.
And they be gourmet sandwiches too.
It is. It's a catered lunch, and they don't eat it, and it's just there, and it's like, damn, but we can't get a check. Like, okay. Actually, at the last meeting, the one that you were at, Daria said, "Why is that white woman here?"
Oh
And
yeah, I
I just
heard her.
love that. Like, she was just like, "What is going on? We got overseers in here. What the hell?" And that's a real time thing. Y'all need to show up at these meetings. Like, like Sonny just pointed out about the Ohio thing, if you just look at who's in charge, that's a whole shit show. And if nobody's pulling up to these meetings, they're going to say reparations is this, and then it's going to be some shit. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be some shit. Like, and if you're not there on public record, this is why I love these meetings. It's public record. You can't say that we didn't say it because we did. It's on record. Y'all recorded it. You got it on film. You got it on audio. This is what the people are saying. And yes, only 3 people in Virginia saying it, but god damn it, we saying it. And the rest of the people have elected us to say it, god damn it, because if they wanted to say something like Katie just said, their asses would be here saying it. But since they're not, cut the check. Cut the fucking check because we said so. We're on record saying it. That's my whole point. So I hear
Let me
you. I just I got so I was upset because it they was ready to get out of there, and I know they was ready to get out of there. I was ready to get out of there, but not until I say what I came here to say. Because god damn it, I had to sit through that traffic. Tunnel traffic was a beast. This most recent trip, it was a nightmare.
and that's why this is why I say, when you'll have sometimes people will say, like, if you just post just a random now I ain't gonna call them random, from any state, and you just post like something, if somebody's trying to get like a commission started, or they have one started, and they getting ready to roll out their first meeting or whatever the case may be, or their first public meeting, because believe it or not, a lot of these different states that's been having these meetings, a lot of them been on Zoom, and we've been on Zoom for like quite a few states. We've been on their Zoom calls like over the past year. We've been on their Zoom calls when they have these public meetings. If you're not showing up to them, because you'll say on one hand, well, that's a Narcan and Cobra meeting, or that's a such and such meeting. Ain't you supposed to be there to run interference no matter who's having the meeting? If there in anybody that throws the word reparations into anything that they have going on, I don't care who is sponsoring the board, the chair, whatever the case may be. That's the code word. That's the bat signal for all of us. If it say reparations on it, you supposed to be the first one that's out there making sure that you checking that shit, to make sure that the language is correct, to make sure that they're not trying to run interference and try to pull an Evanston, Illinois on your state or your city. If you don't go, you give them free range to do whatever it is they want to do. And then I said, God forbid, one of these little small little task force, they get traction, and then they just run off because you ignored it on purpose, because you said it was Narco and Cobra or whoever else, these other little organizations that be going on. If they pick up traction out of nowhere, and they get the lead on this shit, and whatever they recommend is what happens to you and your folks that's out there, and every other Black American that's out there, I don't want to see no space about it. Cause that's on you. Because you supposed to have showed up to run interference to be like, no, we didn't say it all this. And we didn't want this. This is not it. You supposed to go to G check the shit if it's not right, if the language is not right, if the recommendations are not right. You supposed to be there. I don't give a damn if Kermit the Frog was throwing that shit. You're supposed to be there. If that shit has the word reparations mentioned anywhere in that legislation, you are supposed to be there. I do not give a damn. That's what people fail to realize. And we supposed to be the vanguards of this shit. I don't care. If they have something called a reparations cruise on the Spirit of Norfolk, I'm going to get my ticket because I'm going to see what the hell going on. That's what you're supposed to do. But people are just saying that because somebody else's name is on it, they don't want to be bothered with it, and they don't care about it. That means you don't give a damn about what happens to your the Black Americans that's in that area. that means you don't give a damn about what happened to your family of Black Americans that's in that area. You just good with you good with being a pushover. You good with getting next to nothing or crumbs, or if they do that, it might end up being a program, which we know that's their favorite word is education and programs, and that's gonna take a couple of years for that to get together. But because you didn't show up or y'all didn't show up, they got to do it to you. Pause. Because you wasn't there, so it couldn't happen to you. So yeah, I'm not trying to hear none of that. If whatever it is, whoever it is, if the word is reparations, you need to say, let me go see what's going on with these folks over here. Let me make sure this is what we said it needed to be. But yeah, that was one of the excuses that I heard, and I my mind was blown. My mind was blown. So basically, you okay with them fucking us over? That's what I'm gathering from that. You're okay with it. You're scared to check them, but you will type 160 characters on Twitter about how much knocking at Cobra is ops. But you got the opportunity to go meet the ops in person, and you don't want to go because you're scared of them. So you okay with them doing what they need, whatever they want to do to us, and that's the way I analyze it. So I just wanted to add that on to the bill.
Absolutely. And it was a wonderful ad, Katie. Thank you for that. And definitely, you are electing or allowing whatever to happen if you don't go. I like that reparations being a bat signal. Absolutely. Y'all need to have it in your phones, like keyword for your searches or whatever search engine you use. I don't know exactly how to do it because I just will do it like every day. I go and see what else is new with reparations, but maybe people need to make it a point to do that before you go on Facebook or Twitter or on Instagram. You need to Google search reparations and see what's new, and then maybe search for it in your area, because there's no reason for people that are not in your area to know more than you do. And it Google's your friend. I guess that's my main point. Don't be people who want change but don't want to change. Do you know how stupid that sounds? I mean, really, do you know how stupid it sounds? It's stupid. It's pretty stupid, because it's essentially saying that you want someone to do it for you. And just like, I don't know who said what Sonny eats don't make me shit. Was it Kush? I think it was Kush. And she's right. Uh, Everybody needs to worry about themselves. But as a group, since we have to work as a unit, they work as a unit. They got this whole I'm white and I say so. There needs to be I'm black and I said so, and it needs to be with reparations. So if they're talking about reparations, you need to make sure that it's talked about the right way. Everything Katie said, I agree with, because it's ours. At the most recent meeting that I was at, they tried to use people of African descent as language, and that was brand new. They had not said that before in the other meetings. And if I had not gone, they would have been cool. It would have slipped through the cracks. But no, nah, you can't use people of African descent and then reparations in the same breath, because it's not fair. People from Africa are not us. Like, why are we still having this conversation? I swear to God, when they post that recording, y'all need to go watch it. Because when I said delineate, people started taking notes. And it's not that we haven't said this before, but it's like, I don't know what they're taking notes on. And there's this one white guy, I think his name is Dr. Ayers. So, Katie, is Dr. Ayers, he's the white guy with the curly gray hair? Do you
The,
remember?
is that the one we checked in the first meeting?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's him. Yeah.
All right, look, at this most recent meeting, his face, I've been so tickled at how uncomfortable he was at me talking about you need to cut the check, because we have to get dirty with it. Like, the nice talk is cool, but they need to know at the end of the day, a direct cash payment is required before any of this other conversation. Really, you're not about to talk to me about no programs, because, like Katie said, it can take years for a program. And then from there, the administration has changed. There's new people involved. They can just stop the shit. No, no, you need to cut the check now. And we can talk about the programs, because goddamn it, are owed for all of that, all of it. I want it all, and it needs to start with a check. or cash. Like they did it for the stimulus. Like I feel like everybody who was owed a stimulus woke up the next day and had a stimulus. Like, is that not how it happened? I mean, people who make more money, y'all probably didn't have it like that. But for the people who don't make enough money or whatever, I feel like I woke up one day and there was a stimulus check in my account. They can just give me money. What? They can just cut the check. It is so easy. Things are so complicated right now because we are allowing everybody to have their own thoughts. You don't need to have your own thought about this. If you understand that justice is owed, it starts with a check. Movements that don't move have people saying, well, what about this? And what about that? No, you need to shit or get off the pot. And that's where we are. We need our movement to have some laxative. I don't know. I guess a Himalaya salt lemon juice laxative if you are organic, like our sister Katie. If you're not, you can go to CVS or Walgreens and get you a bottle of Miralax and help get some shit going for you. Because again, I think once you take care of your personal self, you will be a better asset to the movement. I feel like that osmosis makes sense. Maybe there's a scientist out there that can make it make sense better, but for the layman out here, I think that you might understand what I mean. Peace to my brother Dwan. I wonder, do you like to be constipated?
I shit 3 or 4 times a day. You dig?
That's what I'm talking about, my nigga. Because really, look, you talk to somebody, talk to 10 people, and this is going to be real uncomfortable. Talk to 10 people, and 5 of those people didn't take a shit today. I swear to God.
Nah,
And it's
I'm
like,
looking at
yo,
my castor oil right here. If it don't come, I got this castor oil. My dad got me on that when I was a kid. And if it don't come, drink a teaspoon of that. It'll be there. You good? And nah, that's what it is. Things. But I just think I'm gonna approach this from all my years working with children and working like directly with kids. Most people don't give a fuck. And if you're gonna work with people, if you're gonna do things that are for the greater good, you have to expect to be the only one. You have to literally walk in with that expectation. Like all my years working with kids, I was always there for my babies more than their own parents was. Whether it be IEP meetings, meetings at the school district, school board meetings about what's going to be in the curriculum. You want to see a dearth of people showing up. Go to a school board meeting when they talking about announcing some new stuff into the school curriculum. You ain't gonna see no goddamn parents there. I don't even have no kids, and I'm over here representing the kids that I work with without one parent showing up. When I coach basketball, I was telling my wife today, when I had the little local tournaments, man, me as a coach, I'm driving around Compton, Inglewood, picking all these kids up, taking them way out to Orange County for basketball games. Parents don't show up. But when we had a Vegas tournament, all them hoes show up. Whenever we had to, like, how y'all gonna show up to Vegas, but y'all can't show up to the tournament at Linwood High? That's nigga 3 minutes outside of Compton. How the fuck? At the end of the day, people don't do what's necessary to get done. And if you have a mindset of being for the collective, being for the greater good, you have to absolutely expect the collective to not give a fuck. And if you're looking for the collective to give a fuck, 100% you will burn out at some point. You will. So in order to not burn out, the reason why people burn out after a while is because they wanted something from other people. You have to know you're not going to get that, and you have to fuel and feed yourself if you're ever going to be in any kind of fight for anything that's the greater good. So you got to walk in the door knowing that. And then, second, when it comes to that, we have to, for those people who couldn't make. I know I'm not in Virginia, but for those, if you are out there and you were listening now and you couldn't make it, and you hear them talking about it, politics is 24/7. There's no one event in politics. It's everything. You got to know your local senators, your local Congress people, and you got to harass their asses. You got to email them. You got to talk to them. You know what I mean? All right, so you didn't make it. Now you can bug their asses for the next however long. Calling them up, rallying other people to call them up. I know this nigga out here where I live, Stephen Bradford. He know the fuck I am. He's the person that introduced one of the people who sponsored the California reparations bill. And when they started talking about taking cash payments out, I saw him. I saw him at the Juneteenth festival over off Crenshaw. And while Too Short was on stage at the Juneteenth festival singing "Blow the Whistle," I'm asking Stephen Bradford, "What about the cash part? That ain't cool. I voted you in office partially on this reparations thing, and I have 4 apartment buildings in your district, and I have people who follow me over here. And so those are all things that we all can do. Email your Congress people, um, educate other people. It's 1,000 ways to get this done, a million ways to get this done. And we have to try all million of these hoes. It ain't no one way to fix any goddamn thing. It's all gonna take a collective effort. It's all gonna take everybody doing their part and playing multiple positions while at the same time never expecting anyone to say thank you. Look at us now. People look back and see Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But what about the thousands, the tens of thousands of black people that pushed through for the civil rights movement starting in the 1923, 1924? Those people who were pushing in the 20s, the Ida B. Wellses, the people who were her assistants, the people who in 1940, brought water out and did what they can do for the people picketing, with the people who loaded the handguns for the Deacons of Defense when they was out there defending. But it's all, most people who are a part of any kind of movement, 99.9% of them will never be acknowledged, will never be known. Only a handful will. And even more than that, no one's going to ever really respect what you did. You have to walk in the door knowing that and know that you're doing this for the greater good, for yourself. It's because your spirit told you to do it. It's because in your heart, in your soul, you got love for people. You got love for your descendants, and you got love for yourself. And that has to be the fuel. And that's the only way you're going to have any kind of sustained movement. It's the only way. The reason why black people keep getting burnt out is because we keep looking for other people to join in. Most of these niggas ain't gonna join. The revolution was 3% of them crackers. If 3% of these crackers can kick off a goddamn King George out of England, what can 1.5% of us do? We gotta look at it that way. Even these white, we like a lot of times. I'm not saying people in this room, but especially not the people in this room. But overall, when you listen to a lot of these, especially the no good niggas who don't do shit, listen to them talk. They always talking about what we gonna do, what we gonna. Most of the niggas talking about what we gonna do. Them niggas didn't even brush their goddamn teeth this morning. They ain't doing shit. So we just gotta know that, you know what I mean, and expect that. And when these people come around, call them out. Just because we know it and expect it don't mean they get a pass. When they come around, running their mouth, call them out. Talk shit about them. Hey, homie, your shoes look a little clean over there. You said you walking with us. What's going on, brother? You know, we can't be afraid to call these niggas out. You know what I mean? Don't give them a pass. When I say we gotta know this gonna be most of these niggas gonna be lazy and not do shit. That don't mean give them a pass either. Nah, put your foot all the way up in their ass until your knee smell like shit. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what we got to do. We got to have our hearts open, have our eyes open. Know that we're doing this for a greater good. Know that the majority of people that got things done. Look at, we had cats like A. Philip Randolph that did so much. Even though he did some other stuff, he did so many things that as far as getting black people in government jobs and stuff like that. Most niggas don't know who he is. Paul Robeson, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King both were inspired by Paul Robeson. Five-star athlete, actor, singer. And look at it now. Most 99% of athletes will never knew who Paul Robeson was. So we got to know that if most black Americans are gonna forget Paul Robeson, if most black Americans done forgot Louis Armstrong's and Miles Davis's impact on music, and look at these niggas today. Most of these niggas done forgot James Brown. Goddamn is the godfather of hip hop. So we some poor memory having ass niggas. We got to know that about ourselves and know that that's because of the condition that we in, and it's only a handful of us that's gonna get this shit right. And at the end of the day, that's all it takes is a handful of us. Because if it only, like again, if it only takes 3% of white folks to kick out King George in England, it's gonna take less than 1% of us to turn this shit around. Because we way more powerful than them motherfuckers. You feel me? All right.
Way more powerful. What a word. What a word. Movements that don't move. I think that if you're about the shit, then you'll do some shit. Tonight we've had a discussion about some shit, and I hope you don't take it for granted. Really, I really hope that you do something. And like Dewan just said, there's a million different things that you can do, but you do need to get started. There can't be situations like my brother Ogun's family, where it took a year to raise $20,000, but Brick Gates from Somalia can raise $40,000 in a matter of days. And she was lying. And she's not even from here. It's a whole bunch of shit that's just wrong. And we're just existing in it. It's not the type of existence that I want to rear my children in. And it's not the type of environment that you should want to be in, but here we are. And if you don't do anything about it, then you're wallowing in shit. And I don't want to hear you talk about it. I want to see you be about it. Be at the meetings or don't be at the meetings. Retweet a tweet. It doesn't matter if you like the person or not. If you know that we are owed, then you need to do something about it. Like, I think the worst thing that you can do is to take popularity and the fact that you're not friends with people and put it in the way of what's owed to us. You remind me of the niggas that sold niggas in this situation to begin with. And it wasn't just Africans. Like, I find that when I have these conversations with you guys, people don't know our story. It wasn't just the niggas on the continent. It was tribal ass niggas here. It was tribal ass Moors. Like, we have a thing sometimes where we get real cliquish and we don't necessarily want to come together for the greater good. And I think it's because we have a long memory, Dewan, but it is short. Like, our short term memory sucks. But then we remember that we've been here and we're going to be here. So it's all good. And we get lazy. And that's not the type of existence I want either. I want things to be easy. And things are easy when the maths. The math will math when they cut the check. So, to the point of the room, I don't know if you had any final thoughts, Sonny, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I do have to prepare for another space tomorrow night. I'm going to be interviewing China Monet. I don't know if you know her or not, but she has a song. It's called Submissive. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't. But she cooks, she cleans, she fucks, she shut up. I don't know. I just thought that maybe people might want to have a discussion with a woman who talks like that. It's real wild, right? Because it's like Cardi B-esque, but she's kind of talking about something that might need to be talked about. I don't know. Maybe you'll join us tomorrow. Maybe you won't. But tonight, shit or get off the pot. Black first.